Hi guys, my name is Alfonso Farias-Lozano, and today I will be presenting on a topic that ties directly into the future of public construction and labor practices in the AEC industry. So I will be talking about specifically why jail projects should not be required to use project labor agreements. So I will be doing this for my CMM 127 class, and this is my position presentation. It is April 13th, 2025. Let's So I'm gonna do a little summarizing here. So as students of future professionals in the AC industry, we're constantly being taught to think critically about cost, workforce management, efficiency, and community impact, which is things we think about every day. So this presentation will pretty much challenge a policy that may, even though it may be well intended, um, we may actually run to counter those core values that we tend to overvalue, especially in the context of correctional facilities. As you can see, I'm talking about jail projects. So, moving forward, my introduction. So, just to get a little clarity on what PLAs are. So, PLAs are project labor agreements. A project labor agreement is a pre hire agreement made between a construction client, usually these are usually government agencies and a group of labor unions. This agreement sets terms and conditions of employment for a specific project before hiring begins. So these project labor agreements usually include wages, working hours, dispute resolution procedures, benefits, and things of that sort. I mean, you said um it's very similar to the contract you signed before you go ahead and right before you do your job, but here in the AEC industry, um, it's kind of required. So all contractors and subcontractors use these. So supporters of PLAs say that they create a job site stability, reduce risk of labor strikes, and help ensure skilled workers. These benefits sound very great on paper, honestly, but when applied to specialized public project like a jail, they come with serious trade-offs. Trade-offs always come you always come across them when you're in the AC industry. So as we know in construction, every decision has ripple effects on cost, time, and who gets a seat on the table. That's why I believe PLA should not be mandatory on jail projects. Moving on. So my statements of support. So first, PLAs reduce competition. So PLAs kind of are biased towards small contractors. So this reduces talent pool and locks out skilled, qualified builders who aren't part of a union. That's unfair and bad for business, honestly, because I feel like everyone deserves a fine shot at working in construction, despite not being in a union. And second, PLAs raise costs. So as simple as it gets, it raises costs by as much as 12 to 18%, which is pretty bad, especially given the fact that jails are multi-million dollar industries. So you look at nowadays, let's say for example, you're buying a $500 PlayStation 5 and you see that tax go up like $40 due to percentage tax or whatever, sales tax. Now, just imagine multi-million. So, for example, $1 million, 20% of that is 200,000. So you add 200,000 more to that. Man, that's a lot of money to be honest with you. And finally, last, PLAs often lead to delays. So delay in hiring. Um, PLAs can also limit your ability to respond quickly to schedule changes or site complications, which, as we all know, are common in correctional construction due to strict security and inspection requirements. So, moving on, social, political, and economic influences. So, socially in the US is rethinking incarceration. So, we're in a moment where incarceration is being questioned more than ever before. Communities across the country are asking whether we should be able to build more jails. And it's more like we already have enough. So we're almost like, us, we never have money to like help support one another. So that also ties on to politically because PLAs are highly debated. Um, as you can see, in counties like Fresno, these battles often play out in boardrooms, budget hearings, and city halls. Um, because it locks so many people out, you're basically focusing on, that specific industry of, oh, I want to fund for jails, but there's so many other needs. And economically, PLAs, um, jail projects already come with massive price tags. So with material costs rising in labor, a PLA is only going to make it more expensive. So that is never a good thing. So moving on to slide 5, AC industry impact. So as we know it today, what does this all mean for us? So the future architects, engineers, and construction managers in this particular class. Um, so in the AC industry, success is built on options. Nobody knows that better than us. We all like freedom. We rely on competitive building and wide network subcontractors. But when a PLA is required, that freedom is pretty much reduced. So whenever that happens, it makes it harder to fill crews and meet schedules. So there's also a diversity issues. As I said, some companies are family owned, and by requiring PLAs, we unintentionally shut them out of the process, which is unfair. And moving on, we talk a lot in this field about sustainability, equity, and innovation, but forcing a single labor model onto every jail project doesn't support those values. It limits choice and slows project progress. So, we can fund in other important projects when it comes to the AC industry. So, a couple bonus facts, like I stated, 12 to 18% more costly than open bid projects compared to project labor agreement mandated projects. Prices are budget breaking. They're huge. They're high. And the California Legislative Analyst Office has noted that PLAs often lead to less contractor participation and delays in delivery, especially in regions with limited union labor. That's pretty self-explanatory, bad all around. So my final thoughts: jail projects are serious. They involve they involve public money, sensitive timelines, and a lot of public scrutiny. That's exactly why they should be flexible and open to all qualified contractors, not just union ones. So instead of requiring PLAs, we should consider optional community workforce agreements and offer local hiring incentives. Oh, sorry about that. They can still ensure good wages and diversity without excluding whole groups of workers. And the AC industry is about building better, smarter, faster, and more responsibly. Mandatory PLAs, especially on jail projects, slow that mission down. So, like I said before, you want to work efficiently, you want to be fair to everybody. That's the ultimate goal, and that goes on for anything in life. It's basic life 101. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. I appreciate you guys for hearing me out. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Don't be afraid to ask. God first, God bless. Thank you. And these are my sources. Thank you so much.